This is the LDV T60 Max Pro, one of the variants in the T60 range, just below the MaxLux, which is the top spec. Before we go too far, this is technically the first British Bakkie we're getting in South Africa. I say Bakkie because it functions like one, and I say British because LDV is originally a British company. Confused yet? Don't be. Let's break it down. LDV stands for Leyland DAF Vans, a brand that started in Britain building hard-working commercial vehicles. But like a lot of brands with long histories, it's changed hands too many times. Today, LDV is owned by SAIC Motor, or SAIC. I don't know how you're going to pronounce that. One of China's biggest manufacturers. So, is it a British Bakkie or a Chinese Bakkie? If we're calling it Chinese because it's built in China, then I think we should call Range Rovers Indian cars, since Tata owns JLR. Makes you think, right? Check out our previous launch video for the full LDV history. But today, let's talk about the Max Pro, because there's a lot to unpack here. And as always, you know it's your boy Dylan here from Zanzi Petrolheads, and I just want to urge you guys, please subscribe. Subscribing really helps us a lot. Road to 20,000 subscribers. Comment below. Let's talk. First things first, it looks different. It's got that what's that effect on the street. I had an older gentleman circling around it, looking confused but intrigued. It just stands out, especially in this stunning red color I had it in. Bold front end, good road presence, this thing turns heads. Now let's talk practicality. On the second day of having the Pro Max on test, I went to collect some building material. Not too heavy, but it was a lot. And the LDV handled it like a champ. The steel bars these things has in the loading bay are totally functional. They're not just there for show, they helped carry the weight with no issues. Talking about power, it has more than its rivals. I'm talking 160 kilowatts and 600 Newton meters of torque. More than the Hilux, more than the Ranger 2.0 bi-turbo. Let's be real, the wheels are a bit off for me. Maybe it's the design, maybe it's the proportion, but they didn't win me over at first glance. That said, they kind of grew on me as the week went by. The inside, there's a few plastics here and there, not really a deal breaker, but something to keep in mind if you are used to premium Bakkies like Amarok or the top spec ranges. Here's where it gets interesting. The Pro Max comes in at a price that undercuts the competition. Oh, so I could say. Comparing it to three of its closest competitors, which would be the GWM P-Series 2-liter double cab, LTD 4x4, coming in at a price of 694,950. Then we have the Ford Ranger 2-liter bi-turbo double cab XLT 4x4, coming in at a high 809,500 rands. And then we have Gems on Ice GT6 double cab Raider 2.8, at 858,600 rands. So comparing it to the two top contenders, it's very low priced. But when you're comparing it to the GWM, it's where you see the GWM is more pricier and has more tech. I haven't tested out the GWM, so I won't speak much on it. I've driven Rangers, I've driven Hiluxes. So I think at the end of the day, when you're buying a Bakkie, you want something that works, that has power. This does. And for me, it's sort of like, sounds great. Just that diesel pull, That's an eco, it has power mode and all those things. They just increase power and whatever. That's not really a big thing to know. But general functionality of the car, man. I'm not gonna lie. Let's not be biased, brand biased and stuff. This Bakkie will get the job done. Not forgetting the pedal shifts, man. And it does tell you when it doesn't want you to change, you see? Okay, it'll tell me this is functioned. But, whoa, it went down to 5. Okay, I was way up. But that's nice. Listen to this. We'll put it on power mode. Downshift. when you don't shift correctly, see what it does. On the fuel consumption side, LDV claim the T60 Max can do 9.3 liters per 100 kilometers and 7.3 in urban around areas. I was getting around 10-ish and it was just a bit off. GWM hasn't listed their average and the Ranger is 7.5, which we know is not true, and the Hilux is 7.4, which we both know is not true. But here's what kicks in for me now. On the LDV, when I poured fuel in its small tank, it is at 73 liter compared to the 78 liters in the GWM and 80 liters in the Ranger and Toyota. They have range, which is given for the GWM full tank range is 821, for the Ranger is 1067, and for the Hilux is 1018. On the LDV, I was able to get, let me just say, around 700 to 800, which is realistic when you compare it to the other ones when they are saying 1000 and all that. It all depends on how you're driving. And I would pour fuel and the fuel gauge wouldn't gauge, or the range wouldn't change. Those are the little technical things we'll talk about when you're saying maybe it's not refined as the other brands. Because I would pour fuel, but my range will still be on 50 while you can see I'm on the first bar. Sometimes I'll just wait for the light to come on. At some point, I just went over that. Now, here's where things get interesting for me. All these four cars I just mentioned use a 2-liter engine. Some are bi-turbo, some are single-turbo. The P series is the one with the least power here, with 120 kilowatts and 400 newton meters of torque, compared to the 500 newton meters which the Ranger and Hilux have, and LDV's 600. But still, the Hilux has 150 kilowatts and the Ranger has 154, which doesn't really make a difference. So, by laws of numbers, the LDV is the most powerful amongst its contenders. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a builder, or someone that just wants a good-looking Bakkie, which is different and comes with low risks, this checks all the boxes. And LDV's after-sales support is looking solid. They've partnered up with large dealer networks and service plans are in place. We will see how it plays in the long term, but the foundation looks decent. In terms of living with it, it's smooth on the highway, light enough in town, and comfortable over bumps or so. The ride isn't too bouncy, which is big for a Bakkie which you're using on a daily. It's not as comfortable as the top contenders, but either way, what can you say? The infotainment system works well. The reverse camera is not as clear, but it's got all the expected modern touches. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, leather seats, even wireless charging in some models. Now, I don't like the look of the infotainment screen, but hey, what can I say, guys? It's with the Chinese build. I don't know how to put it, man. It's just not giving. It's like it's not the one for me. Please change this LDV. Even the sound system sometimes, yeah. There are some things I could talk about, but I feel like when you're looking to buy a Bakkie, let's not go into detail. It's easy to forget that you're in a Bakkie sometimes. Until you load 600 kilograms of cement in the back and it doesn't even flinch. That's when you know you have a good car. So what does this mean for the SA market? I think we're watching the rise of a new player. Just like we saw GWM grow with the Speed and the P series, now LDV is also in the game. If we stop being badge snobs for a second, what we are seeing is a value-packed vehicle from brands that are serious about long-term market presence. The Max Pro might be your builder's new best friend, or the next fleet vehicle for savvy entrepreneurs, or even just a cool, powerful lifestyle Bakkie for weekends. You know, when you get the MaxLux, that one looks dope. So, British roots, Chinese power, proudly working in South Africa. The LDV Max surprised me, man. It's not perfect, but it's compelling. And this is only the beginning. Let me know in the comments, would you buy this one? Please, guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Check out my LDV video of the launch if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next one.